can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Breaking Bet episode, twice in 2 days. I'm your host, JohnnyVTV. Join with me, my guy, Matt Grissom, who, let's just say, man, we had 2 great days yesterday, a lot of winners. If you tailed any of our plays, you definitely cashed out on a lot of money. Matt, what's going on with you, baby? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Coming off a 7-0 sweep. Would have been 8-0, but USC got in a rain delay, pushed into a doubleheader to today. But I don't know how you top it, man. I think I've gotten like 12 new followers in the last 24 hours. I just need I need to repeat today.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday the only thing that really went wrong for me was West Virginia. I took a shot. We talked about the Mountaineers, and the pitching advantage was definitely in favor of Texas, no question about it, but I still decided to take a chance anyway. I'm not really upset about it. I'm not mad about it because I went against the grain knowingly, and I rolled the dice. And you know what? It didn't work out, but that was the only one that really didn't pan out for us. But nevertheless, it was still a great day, and I think, today is another example of how much opportunity there is, how much money there is to be made. But Matt, let's just kind of go over some of these winners from last night. Like, who was your big one, your most, I knew it kind of moment?
Definitely Arkansas. And I know I'm going to get some grief on that because it's a homer pick. But look, I know when to bet them and I know when to bet against them. I've taken them. I took Missouri State plus 240 in the midweek when I knew the Hogs were down. They were in a bad spot. So I'm not afraid to bet against them. Okay. But I know this team so well that I feel like I am the Arkansas insider when it comes to betting this team.
You're the Hogs whisperer. You're the Hog whisperer.
I mean, they came out, they put 4 runs on the board in the first inning. The kid for Vanderbilt, poor guy, he just walked everybody. He had no control over
walks
his
for
pitch.
Patrick Riley.
Yeah, I mean, it's just atrocious. And then, of course, Hagen Smith did Hagen Smith things. And then in a weird turn of events, Will McIntyre came in through the rest of the way, 6 Ks through, I think, 4 or 5 innings. I mean, Dave Van Horn was playing to win. And I feel like that's what he's going to do today. He wants to win the series and then put it on ice. Not throw the game 3, but definitely not be as motivated to win it because, hey, we win today. We locked up the SEC.
Yeah. You know what, dude? That was a great win by Arkansas. Kudos to you. I mean, when we knew Hagen Smith was going, that's why it was a no-brainer. It really was. And that's why I was on Arkansas right there with you. And we talked about it being a 2-unit play, and it was really a no sweat, especially when you consider how bad Vanderbilt is. And we're going to get into that game again. But for me, I would say it was 2 of them. In terms of like layups, no sweat, it was Florida. Hurston Waldrop was outstanding. Wyatt Langford, this generation's Mike Trout. Nobody called him this generation's Mike Trout before I did. So let's just make sure we understand who started with that. Now, I saw Quentin reply to somebody on Twitter saying he's Trout 2.0. Like, all right, let's pump the brakes here, bro. We know you didn't come up with that, but I planted the flag there first. And so Florida was a layup. They're playing really good baseball right now. We've been very critical. I've been very critical about the Florida Gators because of their bullpen, but they've really played good baseball. And I give credit where it's due because I do like Florida. I'm a Florida guy, man. I love some of their core guys. And, I'd like to see them make a little bit of a run. And a lot of the issues have been kind of ironed out, something you would hope to see if you're a fan of this Gators team. And, of course, Clemson, another layup. Really no struggle against UNC. we're both kind of expecting Clemson to pull off the sweep here. And, Clemson's not going to take it easy in any of these games because they got to solidify themselves as a super national seed, which to me is still ridiculous. And they're not, in my opinion, going to pass Wake Forest. I think that ship has kind of sailed in the regular season because I think Wake Forest with a win yesterday pretty much locked it up, but they're going to still fight and try and close that out strong. So those two were just absolute layups for us. And, that Wake LSU parlay almost didn't come home because LSU gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th last night on solo shots, thanks to Thatcher Hurd. But the freshman settled down, and, the second time around when he was given the opportunity, he made sure he closed the door for them.
Let's just say it. I mean, for the 100th time this season, we're one day left after today. LSU's bullpen is a problem. We've beaten this horse dead. Finally, everybody is catching up to it, and you saw it firsthand last night.
I mean, it's happening
bad.
so much.
Bad,
it's happening
Johnny.
so much to as we're speaking, LSU is getting hit the other way, meaning Georgia is taking a lot of money. And we're going to get into this a little bit later. This to me is mind-boggling. LSU opened as a -300 favorite last night. They win. Then the next game, they open as a -195 favorite. Do you understand how big, how drastic that kind of line movement is from one game to the next in an opening? That is unheard of. It's over 105 or $1.05, whatever it is. And now Georgia is really taking a lot of money. That the fact that Georgia, who I put out on my card at +160, on Caesars, they're all the way down to +130. That's just what it goes to show you what kind of line movement. We're giving out Georgia, and I think everybody's finally understanding what we've been talking about, how bad this LSU team is. And, now this is really becoming something of note and of interest. And, this is going to be a game that we're definitely going to be watching here, Matt.
Yeah, I think the books just finally caught up to it. I mean, that number is right where it should be now. We'll see what happens. Hey, I've got a question, though. How bad does Campbell's loss to UC Upstate hurt them yesterday? I don't even know.
That pissed me off. That pissed me off because they were up 4-1 in the 8th inning, and I turned it off because I was like, okay, well,
Did you?
I'm not
play
surprised,
them
but
in any capacity, did you play them?
No.
A parlay or anything?
I didn't play Campbell in any capacity. Upstate is. So the thing is, they're not a team that like you even heard about throughout the whole year, but they're a team that's right up Campbell's ass in the conference. They've been all season. Like Campbell was 21-3 going into conference play yesterday, and they lose. And I pretty much think Campbell needs to win one game in order to lock up the Big South regular season. So as long as they could win tonight or even tomorrow, but like the fact is that that's not really reassuring to me. Any chance they had to host, they have to win the series because they had a huge midweek win against East Carolina. But, it is definitely alarming to me. We can't have Campbell lose this series for this weekend. They definitely have to pull it out and if they want to host. But in terms of the Big South, as long as they win one of the next 2 games, I don't think it really matters, though, to me. Like, it's more about how they're looking and, in terms of a confidence meter, because Campbell's already in the conference in the NCAA tournament, aren't they? 40 wins and everything. Like that doesn't matter, does it?
No, but I think not finishing out this series does. It's going to hurt them bad, I feel like.
If they don't win the series.
Yeah. Just USC Upstate is 20-5 in Big South. What'd you say Campbell was?
Campbell was 21-3.
Now 21-4. So, yeah, I mean, if they don't win the Big South regular season, I don't know. I mean, they could probably still win the conference tournament. But USC Upstate, they have a chance at winning this whole thing.
I'd be really pissed because Campbell's been dominant all year. But I'm not going to start getting into hypotheticals. Let's see how it plays out. And Like Campbell's still in the NCAA tournament. They're not going anywhere, right? Like it's
No, I mean they're going to be in the tournament,
yeah.
but they're not going to host. But
Well, I got to be honest. I don't think they were hosting anyway.
Yeah, I was
don't think
about to say I don't think they were in a position to host.
It's more about. I thought they might have an outside chance. Now, let me explain it to you this way. I only wanted them to host if it was advantageous. Like it means something for the regionals, but I don't want Campbell to be like a 16 seed host and then they possibly might have to go play Wake Forest the next weekend. I'd rather Campbell be a number 2 seed in Clemson's regional, knowing that Campbell can definitely be Clemson. So to me, that's where I'd be more comfortable. I don't want Campbell to host just for the sake of hosting, and then they have to go play Arkansas or they have to play Wake Forest in the super regionals. To me, that's not a huge advantage by any stretch of the imagination, just because you get to host a few games at home in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think it'll matter in the grand scheme of things. Campbell's dangerous. They're going to be there regardless what seed they are and where they play. I feel like they're going to give the number 1 seed all they can.
Yeah, but I got a lot of money on them too to win it
USC
all,
USC Upstate is 2-1 right now. That's
to win the game.
Yeah, plus 200. May take a little Upstate there.
No. We don't do that. We don't bet against Campbell in this program. If you don't bet Campbell, you just do nothing. We don't bet against Campbell on this program. That's not what we do.
May have to do it.
We don't do it, Matt. I will mute you. We don't bet against Campbell on this program. Not on my watch. We just won't do it.
Hitler.
All right. Before we get into the rest of the plays for today, if you play a ton of prize picks like the rest of us at Karma, you definitely want to sign up for access to the prize picks predictor on this site. It includes AI player prop projections every day for NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB, college football, college basketball, WNBA, and more. Go to betkarma.com/JohnnyVTV and sign up right now. I have a lot of friends that signed up for this, dude, right? And they have so much access to all this intricate information and things that really help them with their wagers. And a lot of my friends have won a lot of money because of it. And also because I'm putting out some fire prize pick props every day. Put out one about an hour ago featuring my boy Sugar Shane Daddy McClanahan. Signature lefty move. Signature. I know you're not big into the pros, but, you know.
Speaking of, my boy Zach Gallen goes today. I need to
Gallon of gold? You got Gallon of gold
Nerfy.
Oh, Nerfy? You're a big Nerfy guy. It's fun. Nerfies are good, but they're tough, man. That's a tough bet. Consistently hit.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of crazy things happen.
Because Arizona's offense has surprisingly been doing decent in the first inning. Gallen is a machine, but Diamondbacks are typically the ones that blow it by scoring a run or two. Hats off to Dominic Fletcher, former Hog, having a stellar first 2 weeks in the major leagues.
Here we go. All right, let's get to our first game.
Hey, did I mention that I swept yesterday?
Oh, God, here we go. I was trying to
7-0. 7-0.
That's big, dude. That's hard to do in the college diamond. I mean, I would have went.
I know.
I think 5-1.
That means you probably should fade me today because regression is a thing.
To the mean.
Yeah.
It's hard to have back-to-back big days in college baseball. It's very difficult because, like, a lot of times, at least how we do it, and I feel like it's very important to understand the fluctuation of a series in college baseball. We predict what we think the way of the series is going to go. Now, a lot of times, when you're successful, you win a lot of money. But if you're off on one game, that could completely change how a handicap goes for a weekend.
Yep, 100%.
So speaking of here, we have the Virginia Tech Hokies who tried to give our Wake Forest boys a scare. Wake Forest, another big favorite. They have Josh Hartle going because I think Sean Sullivan's still dealing with some injuries. Now, obviously, we're not going to lay it Wake at -250. even though VTech did give it a good go last night, how are you attacking Wake Forest in a parlay here?
I threw him in a parlay with Florida. I kind of missed the boat with Florida minus 150. By the time I got on to bet it, it had jumped to minus 165. That was a little too rich for my blood, so I just parlayed them and Wake Forest, and then did one more. Oh, Stanford with Quinn Matthews. That price had gotten a little too high. And hats off to Stanford. I thought that was going to be a loser yesterday on my card after we talked about it, and they said that they weren't starting Quinn Matthews. I had it at 185, and they were down like 5-1 early. I went to bed, thought this is a loser. And then the Stanford Cardinal, they come back in extra innings and win.
But do you see what I'm saying about Stanford, though? You see what I'm saying about them? Like, you know, and that's at Washington State. Like, Washington State's a pesky team, but they're not good by any stretch of the imagination. And, like, you know, in the second game of the series now, Stanford opened up 185 last night. Now they're 175, and they have Quinn Matthews on the mound. So in my case here, I still can't lay it with Stanford. I just don't know if they're playing for – I just don't know how much they're playing for, to be honest.
Yeah.
They pretty much locked up regular season Pac-12. They're going to be a super regional host. So it's more about playing well and into the – you know, going into the whole tournament. But to me, I think Wake Forest, Stanford's a good parlay. And then Coastal Carolina, who got rained out yesterday. I like Coastal today. You know, I do like your look with Florida, but for me, I want to get them back into my board again. I don't want to put Florida in a parlay. Only. I want to make sure I get them straight up. And that's why I took them earlier at minus 150, right at open, because we had late opens today with DraftKings. They were very, very slow. I got it out right away. 10 minutes later, it's out to minus 165 against the Kentucky Wildcats. The Gators had a great showing behind Hurston Waldrop, my guy Wyatt Langford last night against Kentucky. Do you think Florida is now fair at minus 165? Would you lay this number with them or no, with Brandon Sproat on the mound?
I don't know. I didn't. Like, I parlayed them because I would have taken them all day at 150, 165. Just something said no. So I have confidence in Brandon Sproat. I have confidence in Josh Hartle. You can parlay those two, Wake Forest and Florida, and probably get plus money. So just do that.
Yeah, I think at this point, you know, Florida's getting a little steep, 165. You know, we're still dealing with a top 25 team in Kentucky. I probably would look for that Florida Wake Forest parlay, maybe throw Coastal in there, possibly Stanford. I'm cool at my 150. I think probably 160 is the highest I would go. And I could see Florida maybe even getting a little bit bigger as the day goes on. Maybe get this out to like minus 170, 75. I'm not really feeling great, even though we have Sproat on the mound, because Kentucky, even though they're not playing that well, they're at home. They're a tough team, and they're still fighting for a regional host themselves. So
I think it's that high because Florida won 10-3. If this game would have been like 7-6, I don't think there's any way in hell that Florida would be this big of a favorite.
A lot of times what happens is the line movement gets that way and happens because bettors are betting one side. That's why Georgia's moved down. And that's why Florida's moved up, because I think people are betting.
Johnny, is that how that works?
It is. So
I know that. I'm saying, how do you take Florida, like last night, what were they, minus 120?
125? Yeah. Oh, you're saying they're big
I'm
open.
saying
why they
because Florida won in such dominating fashion, they weren't going to hang that line at minus 125 or minus 135. They just jumped it up. That's what I don't get.
Okay. Oh, that's what you're getting at. Yeah. No, completely understood. I agree with you. I still think the minus 150 is the right thing to do. It's a little disappointing that it's that big, but I don't know, man. I think Florida's heading for a possible sweep. but still, the 165 is a little intimidating. I think I'm going with my 150, probably up to 160. Now I think a parlay is fair game.
Look at it this way. What would the number have to be for you to bet Kentucky?
I would probably want Kentucky to be at least 145 for me to bet.
See, it would be like I'd have to get Kentucky at like plus 200.
I would think at least 145. I think if Kentucky wins a game, it's going to be tomorrow against Jack Caglione. I like Brandon Sproat today on a Friday night, usual rest. So I think for me that's definitely the path here. So Florida should be in for another big one, and I really love what the Gators are doing. They're playing really great baseball right now against ranked teams. All right, speaking of, we have the LSU Tigers, who have now seen a lot of movement because of Georgia. So Georgia just moved. They're not even 160 anymore. They're about 150, give or take. What's your number that you have to see Georgia at in order to play them?
I played them at plus 160. I think I can still get plus 160 at Saracen, plus 155 on Oaklawn. I mean, I love Georgia. I honestly would make this number Georgia minus 110.
I think I agree with you because, look at Ty Floyd. He's had some really good outings and he's had some really bad outings. The bullpen got worked last night. Thatcher Hurd is burned for today. They're not going back to him. I don't know what they're doing with Christian Little. There's just not enough arms in this LSU bullpen. They don't have Chase Shores anymore. He's done for the year. Garrett Edwards, he's done for the year. So there's a lot of uncertainty with this. And if they don't get at least 6 innings from Ty Floyd today, LSU's in trouble. LSU is in trouble if they get a short outing from Ty Floyd. And let me put it to you this way. Georgia hung with the Tigers and Paul Skeens last night. They hung with them, went blow for blow. Charlie Condon, who's probably going to be the freshman of the year, went 0 for 6. I'll tell you what, that kid is not going 0 for 6 again tonight. I think Georgia wins. I think they win by a sizable margin. And this is where I hate not having series prices. Because if we had series prices, I would bet Georgia to win the series. And I talked about this earlier in the week. Georgia had a significant edge to bet as an upset dog in game 2 and game 3, possibly taking both. Matt, I think Georgia might win the series, but I definitely think they win tonight. I think tonight is a full unit play, not nibbling on half unit for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I agree. But you could basically create your own series price out of that. I mean, if you've got, say you take LSU, you played them for a unit last night, you laid whatever it was, and then you roll that over, bet that balance on Georgia. And then if you think Georgia's going to win the series, then they've got to win game 3. You even put half that on game 3. I mean, you're talking serious money there.
Yeah. Now it's funny because I think Georgia's a cool leg in a parlay as well. If you want to go with an underdog parlay, Georgia's going to be the anchor of it, but I'll dish to you the other teams that I like today that are also underdogs that, quite frankly, might deserve to be favorites. And, I think Georgia's going to win outright, and they're a team that they might make some noise if they get the right draw. I don't think they have what it takes to win it all this year by any stretch because their pitching is really bad, but their offense is an absolute juggernaut, especially at home. So I think this Georgia team is definitely capable of winning a series against LSU to finish out the regular season.
I do too.
All right, Matt, let's get back to the ACC real quick, where we have North Carolina in game 2 against the number 7 Clemson Tigers. Me and you both hammered Clemson last night. I think it's standard operating procedure. I think Clemson probably pulls off the sweep this weekend. I think I would play Clemson out to like minus 160, 165 today. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this was a rocking chair winner. I think by the third inning or second inning, they had like a 91% win probability. Clemson Tigers are hot, man. don't try to get in front of this train because it will run your ass over. Just bet the Tigers and go. I threw a little bit of money on them. I think 55-1 to win the College World Series too.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Clemson was super long odds. I've been keeping an eye on them because I keep an eye on the futures market. I check it several times a week. And I was keeping an eye on them, and I was just like, Clemson falls in that West Virginia category that they're getting hot at the end of the year. But, you know, considering the fact that I have so much money on several different teams, it almost becomes counterproductive to add more to the fold. But in any case, I still don't think they have enough to get it done. I think they've survived this long in their mirage because they've beaten nobody. The best team they've beaten in a weekend series was Boston College. They lost to Wake. They lost to Duke. They lost to South Carolina. And Clemson fans that come from ahead are like, oh, we beat Coastal. Okay, like
that's what I was about to say. You're going to have some Clemson Tigers fans.
Good. I don't care. They already did. Like, bro, they think the ACC is good. There's one good team in the ACC. That is Wake Forest.
You know what? 6 weeks ago, there was one good team in the SEC too. Everybody would say LSU. I said 6 weeks ago, there seemed to be like one clear-cut team that was better than everybody else in the SEC, and it was LSU. And now LSU's fallen off. South Carolina kind of popped. Now they're back down. Vanderbilt is kind of just whatever right now. Arkansas is hot.
Listen, that's a fair point, but at the end of the day, like their down and out is still better than a lot of these other teams. Like, you can't tell me that any team in the ACC has a real chance to win anything outside of Wake Forest. Like that, like I really just don't think so. The ACC is not a good baseball conference. Like, even Virginia to me has a lot of question marks. And I've been calling them frauds all year. Louisville, we've been calling frauds. I don't even know if any of us believe in Boston College on our group. Me, you, Q, like we like Chris Flynn days, but even that has kind of gotten, a little stale. But in any case, listen, we take advantage of Clemson when we can. I mean, they're going to see steam out. They're already out to minus 150 on certain books. And I do think taking them today for the rest of the weekend is a no-brainer. I feel like the Tigers are going to pull off the sweep here. And, if they solidify themselves as a top 8 seed, that's what it's going to take. They can't really afford any losses or any stumbles at this point in the season for that.
How about those Creighton Blue Jays?
That was a good call by you last night. You're talking
Huskies.
You know what? You cut a clip from our show yesterday, and you made it on your Twitter. I should get you to start doing that for our shows for other parts of.
I've got another clip that I wanted to post, but I didn't.
What was it?
It's where you tried to talk me out of betting Texas.
I tried to talk you out of betting Texas.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't even going to touch the game at all.
I know.
Yeah,
but I ultimately did.
But if you remember, I said that, listen, Texas has the pitching advantage, no question about it. But sometimes the better pitcher doesn't win. That's true. That's happened a lot this year.
Womp, womp.
Listen, we're going to get to that West Virginia game. Don't you worry. But before we do, let's get to your Arkansas Razorbacks. Put it on Vanderbilt last night.
Country roads take me home. All right. Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas throwing Hunter Holland. That's what I need to know.
I don't know. I don't even think Dave Van Horn knows, because you know what I think he's waiting on? He's waiting to see what the score is after like the third or fourth inning, because Brady Tygert's going to come out as the opener. Then you're probably, if we have a run or two lead, I bet you see Hunter Holland. If we're losing, I bet you see Ben Bobby. And he's going to play for the win tomorrow. Because we've still got Gage Wood, Brady Tygart, Hunter Holland, Ben Bobby, and maybe Zach Morris if he's feeling it. He's kind of been super hot and cold this year. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a chess match. And I honestly don't think Dave Van Horn even knows at this point who he's going to play, because he's playing to win 2 out of 3. Now, I think he would like to get it today, Obviously, we all would. But it's going to have to be a great outing by Brady Tygart. And then it's going to have to be, our offense is going to have to stay hot from yesterday. Because if we don't have the lead, I think he would rather just kind of fold up shop on today, lose to Devin Futrell, and then go for the win tomorrow with Hunter Holland and Gage Wood. That's what I think.
Yeah, so that's the problem for me backing Arkansas. Like, I just don't know what, like, I could just say, you know what, whatever, and back Arkansas today. And if they lose, I could back them again tomorrow. I'm not really.
Which is essentially what I'm going to do.
Just say whatever.
That's why that was a 1 unit play for me today. If they win it, great. I've won 3 units on them. I'm not going to bet them tomorrow. If I lose, I'm still up units, and then I'll hammer them again tomorrow. So it's kind of a, equivalent to like a blackjack. You walk up to a table, you hit blackjack on your first hand, you're up money regardless, even if you lose the second hand. So just roll with it that way.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about maybe putting a half unit on Arkansas. So Arkansas would be one of the legs of my my underdog parlay. So if you take Georgia money line, you take Arkansas money line, and then I think the Razorbacks really, they don't have much to play for if they win today. They'd be locking up the SEC. They're locking up a top seed. They're locking up home field advantage for the super regionals. So it really depends. Like, I think today is difficult because Vanderbilt does have their best chance to win with Devin Futrell. Devin Futrell has been one of the best Sunday guys in college baseball this year. Now he's the game 2 guy with Hunter Owen possibly throwing game 3 because Carter Holton has been scratched every single time out. But speaking of the last leg of this parlay, let's get back to my West Virginia Mountaineers.
Hang on real quick about the Razorbacks.
Yeah.
Did you see Todd Walker on the SEC Network?
I saw it. I knew
Todd's best chance to win the national championship.
I didn't even want to bring it up to you because I knew you were going to say something about it. I knew you were going to complain about it.
I mean, I get it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But honestly, top 4, Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Vanderbilt. LSU can't pitch. Vanderbilt can't hit.
I thought it was about top 4.
Those two should be thrown out. Flip-flop Florida and Tennessee. I would say right now it's Florida, Arkansas, South Carolina, if they can get hot, LSU.
Where's Tennessee?
I don't think that they can do it. They suck on the road.
Bite your tongue. Tennessee's going to do it. Would you shut up? Would you shut up? So what? So what? They're going to be fine. They're going to come back and they're going to get it together. Would you shut up? Like, you know what? I'm glad he left Arkansas off. I'm glad he left Arkansas off. You know what? You're not on ESPN making a list. So you know what? Your list doesn't count. At least he put Tennessee number 1. I don't agree with not having Arkansas on there, but that's what you get. He knew you wouldn't put Tennessee on your list.
You know what? Okay. I'll throw out South Carolina because they're cold. They're super Tennessee's cold. At 3. Florida, fine. Arkansas, Tennessee, LSU.
I can live with it.
I don't even like LSU that much. That I feel like I'm over respecting them by putting them at 4.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, can we get to West Virginia?
We can.
Q Country Roads. I was wrong about it yesterday. Went against Lucas Gordon, paid the price. Texas put it on the Mountaineers yesterday. Porter Brown hit 3 home runs. I didn't stay up to bother to see if he hit a 4th. Losing by 10 runs here, I think West Virginia is going to respond. LeBaron Johnson Jr., who started out as a midweek guy for Texas, he's earned a weekend rotation role. This kid is good. And he's going today against Blaine Traxel. Blaine Traxel is the guy for West Virginia. After they got their asses beat last night, I don't think they lose twice in a row. And you know what? I was wrong yesterday. Let me correct the mistake that I made, saying Texas didn't have a chance to win the Big 12 and it really didn't matter this series. That wasn't true. They did have a shot. I thought they were about 5 games back, and it turns out that they weren't. So I apologize for misspeaking on that. Texas does have a shot here to win the Big 12 in the regular season. Very small, but if West Virginia wins, then Texas doesn't have any chance, and then it becomes between the Mountaineers and Oklahoma State. So I still think regardless, and I was saying this yesterday, if West Virginia lost yesterday, I was still taking them today. And I think they're gonna rebound. JJ Weatherholt's gonna have a big game. Blaine Traxel is gonna have a signature performance, and West Virginia would be the last leg with Arkansas and Georgia in the underdog parlay today. And I don't agree with having Texas out there at almost minus 140 as a favorite at home.
I don't agree with the line, but I couldn't bet it. I'm going to stand by what I said yesterday. I think Texas is just, they're throwing everything they can to win this series.
You don't think West Virginia at least takes one game?
No, I do, but I don't know. If they're going to do it, I feel like it's going to be today. So bet them if you want. I'm going to stay away.
Listen. I think West Virginia is the move today. I think Blaine Traxel is going to have a good game. I think JJ Weatherholt's going to.
I will root you on.
You will root me on? Will you?
Go.
That's what a good friend does. So, Matt, something that I wanted to just get your opinion on. There's no line to it. It's the Tennessee-South Carolina game. It's a doubleheader. You know how much I effing hate doubleheaders.
Yeah, are they just not putting lines up for doubleheaders now?
They didn't put the line up. I got it.
Because they haven't put a line up for the USC Trojans either. I think they
somebody on
today.
Twitter told me that the series was on Caesar. The game was on Caesars, and I personally don't see it because the first game starts at 3:00. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I'm not 100% sure what we're looking at here.
You know what? I remembered what it was you tried to talk me out of. Not Texas. It was Tanner Hall, our boy, Southern Miss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I want you to lay
was
180
money.
with Tanner Hall. And the only reason they won was because of a grand
It was
slam.
155. 155.
You got 155.
Yeah, no,
got
you
out
were
to
right.
180.
You were right. Their offense was lethargic until that grand slam, but that's all they needed.
But like Tanner Hall threw a gem. 8 innings, 12 strikeouts, no runs. And the only reason that they got runs is because of a grand slam.
That's why we back pitchers.
Yes, we do.
Pitchers
but,
that go
the fact
deep.
The fact is they're not good. Southern Miss is not a good team. They can't. Their offense is not good.
Right there.
Listen. You backed a good pitcher and it paid out. That's a great feeling, isn't it? That's why we do it. But
it is.
In any case, here, what do you think's going on with this Tennessee series? I mean, I would imagine the way it was, Tennessee was a short underdog at minus 110, and they have the first game on at 3:00, and I haven't seen if it's going to be Andrew Lindsay in the first game and Dolly in the second. But what do you make of today, just from a broad, even non-betting standpoint?
Well, the 11.7 pick'em contest, I picked South Carolina to win based on Tennessee's horrific road record.
You're scumbag.
So I hope South Carolina gets it together and wins. I would love a free trip to Las Vegas to watch the College World Series at Circa.
Are you going to bring me?
I'm in third place. 2 wins behind the first place guy.
Would you bring me if you win?
No, it's no guest allowed.
Really?
And hang out with Ben Upton. No, but you can come.
You wouldn't bring me?
No, you could ride in the limo that they send to the airport to pick me up.
Wow, you're such a scumbag. I hate you.
I mean, what do you mean? What do you want to pack you in my carry-on?
Yeah, maybe.
How can I bring you?
Well, I don't know. We're co-hosts. How are we not going to do this together? How are we not going to go watch the College World Series?
Everybody will have to come out there. But it's not like I'm getting a big check where I can fly all my buddies out.
I kind of do want to go. Like,
it would be a
if
blast,
Wake Forest,
dude.
What?
It would be a blast.
Wouldn't it be? Just sit at Circle all day?
Sitting at Stadium Swim, listening
to... but you know what the problem is, though? The problem
Dimitri talk about Mercer.
Yeah,
and
I don't really know
how good the mid-majors are.
The problem is you can't access DraftKings out there.
You can drive 30 minutes to Arizona, park by the Hoover Dam.
I'm not going to do that. You can't access DraftKings. That's where I have all my stuff.
Circa's already promised me that after this weekend, they're going to hang every single line for all the main conference tournament games, everything. So I'm going out there next weekend to bet conference games.
Who did you talk to? Jeff Benson?
Mm-hmm.
You spoke to him?
Yeah.
Would you DM him on Twitter?
Nah, I texted him. We're tight like that, man.
We're tight like that.
I got to sell him.
I met Jeff last time I was in Vegas when we went to Circus.
He's a great dude. I mean, but that's what's
runs
awesome
tight
about Circa is you just literally ask for it. Like, you want to bet midget wrestling, just ask them to hang a number. They will. Because they're not afraid to take. They're not afraid to take bets.
Circus tight. They have a lot of tight lines that they run a tight ship out there, and it's kind of annoying because I want to get an edge on it and I can't because they're actually putting out good numbers that I would hang myself if I was handicapping for a book. But Matt, I did finally bet Arkansas in the futures market. DraftKings dropped him to 9-1. Circa still had him at 11-1. So I had to drop a couple of units on it. Just because I'm not going to be the guy that when his team wins the national championship, I don't have a dime on it. I can't do that. So you're not going to be that guy, right? All right. So before we get out of here, is there any other games that you wanted to touch on?
I don't think so. I have a small card today, and a lot of that was because of I did so good yesterday. I do feel like there's going to be some slight regression. So I just wanted to minimize my regression. I would love to bet USC because I love their game 1 and game 2 starters in Soderson and Aoki, but I'm not seeing a line. So
I think Caesars might have had one. No, they don't.
I would bet South Carolina in game 1 if I saw a line. Yeah.
Eli Jones against Andrew Lindsay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. Like, listen, I understand it, but just the fact is I still got to ride with Tennessee. I could totally see both sides. South Carolina is ice cold. Tennessee can't play for anything on the road. Like, I totally get it. But the fact is I can't ride like that. I got to ride with my Volunteers, bro. They have the better pitching, and their hitting has been actually pretty solid for the most part. So,
Georgia, Clemson, Arkansas, Wake Forest, Florida parlay. That's all I got.
And we've been on the right. We're on the right side of all these lines too. Pretty much. So, I really like what we're looking at here. So, best of luck to everybody. We won't see you until next week. And next week we're going to have finally the conference tournaments going. So it's been a great regular season. We really appreciate everybody joining. And I swear to God, would you stop?
Sweep it.
It's been a great regular season. We've made you guys a lot of money if you've tailed us. Matt, I think Matt cheats. There's no way he's got almost 46 units going on. It's very impressive. But yeah, man, a lot of green, lot of cashers, and we're not done. We're going to have a really big season because anybody will tell you the college tournament is where you make the money. That's how you could take advantage, especially because you're able to bet. You're able to bet who wins regions, who hits super regions, who wins the series price, and all that. So it's a lot more advantageous and a lot more profitable. So don't forget to follow my guy Matt at Grissom Tweets, at College Baseball Insiders, and at mattgrissom.com. You can follow me at JohnnyVTV on Instagram, JohnnyVTV on TikTok, and _JohnnyVTV on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. Best of luck today. Let's go Tennessee. Let's go West Virginia. And let's go Georgia Bulldogs, baby. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck.
Woo pig, as always.
Woo pig, woo pig. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Best of luck. Cash some winners.
I can do this with my eyes closed.